all the police came. Listen to the engines roaring around. This is definitely a car fully prepared to race. Drift culture, car culture. Today, I made a video that people have been asking me for years, and I don't fully grasp this topic. So today, I hope there are a lot of people who don't know much about cars, just like me, because today we're going to learn about drift culture. All right.
You're not going to start the Carbola?
I don't have a license. What's wrong with you? How long have you had the workshop?
For about 3 years.
And what kind of clients come here?
A lot of drift-style clients.
Is there any particular reason?
Well, I have a car that style. So friends come over.
So the first customers were all your friends?
That's right.
Are there a lot of repair jobs?
I do a lot of repairs and painting.
Do your friends do drift and crash a lot?
Yes, including the current paint job. It's the same way.
So does that mean this is a car that crashed?
Yes, fixing the dents.
And did you also used to crash?
I do.
Even now?
Yes.
The good thing is that you can fix it on your own.
Yeah, but breaking something kind of kills your motivation.
How long have you been drifting?
Since I was 27 years old.
How old are you now?
I'm 33 years old now.
The person joining us today had contact, and nothing. A workshop here in the Atsui area, because Kanagawa is full of racers, what they call hashiriya in Japanese. Racer, the word literally means racer. In this area in the south below Tokyo, there's a lot of drift culture here, and a lot of Latinos who like cars. There's also plenty of good stuff. Today, we'll try to meet up with some of them. All these people who got together today belong to the Gaijin style group, and another group that's friends with Gaijin style. The thing is, the whole group thing is kind of like, well, a good thing. Some people join a group to have a kind of group identity. Others do it to have something like a family. To be part of a friendly circle, but you can see that they give it a lot of importance. Joining a group isn't mandatory for anyone, but it feels like you're part of something, and that's the nice part about groups. And Martin, as the leader of a group, for example, he feels a bit of responsibility. Even though there's no formality within the groups, it's simply about joining a circle of friends who share a passion, which is cars. He feels a kind of responsibility to tell his friends not to mess things up. Like, for example, making sure no one drives drunk. Because he doesn't want the group's name to be tarnished either. Because you don't want a group to get a reputation for being a group of problematic drivers. I mean, let's be honest. Everyone speeds or breaks traffic rules sometimes. That's the same for everyone. But in the end, everyone drives with a certain level of responsibility. And there's something that caught my attention too, which is that there's a kind of code, a rule that's been formed, that no matter what the situation is, that if someone is out there racing in a group, if one of them, I don't know, took a wrong turn and the car behind crashed. No matter what the situation is, nobody has to take care of someone else's car repairs. Like, everyone is responsible for their own repairs. Because, after all, everyone has to be aware that this is a hobby where you can mess up, and it can cost you a lot of money. And well, you can't go around making anyone responsible for others. I need you to help me understand a few things because I don't know anything. Did you watch the anime Initial D?
Yes.
E.
86.
86 from Toyota.
Yes, the famous Hachiroku.
And I see that little car, and I don't see it as a sports car.
It looks like an innocent toy car. I think what made it magical was mostly the engine. Besides, it's a very lightweight body with a very well-balanced weight. And at the time, and I think even today, it makes it a very special car for this. Very, I would say, almost perfect, right?
From what the guys were telling me, for example, I asked why is it that cars race in the mountains and all those things? And they told me what happens is that basically all of us started to drift. You start in the mountains because it's the most accessible, because it's like the drift pasture. It's where you start. That's where... So you don't have to, let's say, start directly on a track, paying for a track, because you save money. And also it's like a more authentic way to learn how to drift in the mountains at night when regular cars don't go that fast. But what they do say, from what I've heard, well, there are people who like to drift, slide. There are people who like to race at high speed. And there are people who just go along. They care less about the sports aspect and more about what it actually is. Tuning the cars, making them look cooler, giving more importance to the appearance of the car. Or, for example, there are people who don't care about the appearance of the car at all. They have the car all beat up, falling apart, but they go out and race as much as they can, and they do it. They go out and race. They spend all their time racing. The whole thing about car culture in Japan is endless. It's really infinite. And each person, each group, each one with their own style, with their own interests. When it comes to going out driving cars, and that's very interesting.
Well, I've been racing for about 15 years more or less, and well, every now and then. That's how we get together with friends, people from the same car culture, to chat, to hang out a bit, have some coffee, have a smoke. And, to chat. What did you do to your car? What are we going to do from now on? Simple things. Gatherings that are almost, how can I put it, like family. Because we're all really close now, right?
I noticed a lot of discussion about the groups today. It's like they form their own groups with their own names, right? What's the purpose of forming a group with a name?
Well, first of all, I have my group. The name is Gaijin Style. Gaijin Style, well, a lot of people know the meaning of Gaijin is foreigner. We were a group of 4 or 5 foreigners, each from different countries. We are Gaijin, but we like cars. We decided to form a group and started. Each of us began to build our own car. We started going to events and we made a lot of friends. And well, today there are already more or less over 10 of us, about 15. Way more than 20 cars that always get together because of us. And well, today for example, we let some people know we got together today, and today they started showing up.
The place where we are now is called Daikoku Fudo. This is a very famous parking area where people have been gathering for decades. People come here to bring their cars, gather together, and if someone wants to go for a run, they just go out for a bit. The place became so famous because of the racers, drifting, and all that, that now on Saturdays, this parking area, which is a place where you park your car to go to the bathroom or grab something to eat, on Saturdays closes at midnight. People who want to use the bathroom. In the middle of the highway, you can't access it, and actually, you can't even get to this place on foot anymore. Previously, it was accessible by other means, but now it's only reachable by car to avoid attracting crowds who don't drive a car. And well, today is Friday, and well, Fridays. Now people have started gathering. The craziest thing about all this is that I first got to know this place 23 years ago, in the year 2000 when I was 14 years old. My brother brought me here a couple of weekends to show me what the scene was like. About the tuned cars, which I don't see much of these days, but you do see quite a lot of cars. Oh look, there's an AE86, there are initial D, and look, there are 3 together. That's crazy. year 2000, and it was wild. What you saw with the cars was crazy, but back then there were way more lights, loud music, speakers. I have to say that before I used to be much more surprised. Well, actually, visually, there was a lot more to really be amazed by and so on. I remember they were... vans that would open the back door and it was full of speakers, music blasting really loud and people dancing. Also, I remember they told me that because of drugs and stuff like that, there are a lot too. The police also kind of controlled the area more, but nothing good. People seem to come and go. But well, nothing, a lot of cars there are. The car we're driving in, what model is this car?
This is a Toyota Aristo. Toyota Aristo must be from the year 98. This one is equipped with one of the most iconic engines. Japanese engines, which is the 2J twin turbo. This engine also came in the Supra Hachimaru 80, or better known around the world as the Mark IV. The only thing is, well, this unit has this detail that it's been converted to a manual transmission. This particular car doesn't come manual, it's only automatic from the factory. But anyway, the owner of this vehicle races. And well, he took a break. Now, that's why it has the original seats. Otherwise, it would have another type of racing seats. But anyway, it's a very comfortable car. You could almost say it's from the Japanese very important person car niche.
Each person buys a car according to their interests and tastes. But well, for example, Martine really likes the style they call very important person, which is the type of elegant car that has a certain style. Let's say more Yakuza, the old school kind. Then there are those who like sports cars more, which are for going faster. Then there are those who are about style. More gangster. That would be the equivalent of the Bosazoku, let's say, the rowdy bikers. Well, they would fall into that category, but with cars. But it doesn't mean that someone is a bad person or close to being a criminal just for having that style of car. It's just a style, right? Like when you like a type of music, if you like metal, it doesn't mean that you have to fit certain stereotypes of being a violent person. No, it's just a style, right? That's good, since everyone has their own preferred style. Are they all pretty much, let's say, defined in that sense? Then, well, there are the other cars that are more designed for drifting, let's say. That's when you realize it, because that's the style that's in. Bosazoku, because they're the ones that make noise, and noise, they like to make noise, they leave you deaf, you can hear them from kilometers away. Many times I've thought that sometimes near my house, on the highway, Bosazoku on motorcycles would pass by, but no. It could easily be just two cars. What could I have heard? And all these people, what are they doing here? What are they doing? They just get together with friends to chat, show off the changes I made to my car, talk about life, go out to eat, go for a drive. By car. It's the same as when you get together with friends in a park. Well, it's the same, just a bit more expensive with cars. And without alcohol, because nobody can drive drunk here. When you decided to give it a name, I mean, back then, did you already know there were other groups with their own names, let's say?
Yes, I mean, here in the area, they split up into groups by friendships, by car styles. And by the way, they drift. Each drift group has its own unique racing style. However, not everyone participates. Drifting is not Well, it's one for everyone, but each one has their own style, their own way. They go alone in groups, and each one has their group, each one drives the way they like. Many of them strive to become professionals. And we're not part of that. Well, let's say we have our group, but it's more street style.
To belong to a group, and those things, for example, does that mean you have to get along badly with other groups? Or are there rivalries?
No, quite the opposite. My group and my friends' group get along very well. We get together for barbecues, we hang out, we're very close. My car broke down. Can you pass me some spare parts? We have a close and strong friendship.
Oh, right. I mean, it's not about creating rivalries, it's mostly just to identify ourselves, more or less.
Right. Moreover, the group's divided further since there were many people. From groups that have been together since they were very young, and among themselves they form their own groups. I have mine too, which from the beginning, since I started having a car, I was always with the same people, and that's how I formed my group. More people started joining in from there. Those who just got their license and want to learn how to drift, we give them a chance to go practice. We also teach them a bit. Well, teaching isn't really our thing, but we support them afterwards.
Afterwards, well, for example, something I was often told is that there's a lot of respect, which is very Japanese. Respecting everything about the senpai-kohai culture. That, let's say, style of hierarchy that exists within Japanese culture, which is quite typical. Respecting elders because they are the ones with more experience racing, experience with the police. They are the ones who can advise you on everything about street racing. And in life itself. Because senpais and hobbies, since they're not workplace senpais, but rather from a hobby, it can feel much more familiar. That kind of senpai-kohai relationship. That relationship. And therefore, it's a very respected relationship because it's more like a brotherhood. And that's another beautiful side of what it is. This culture of runners, which of course people say is a hobby for wealthy people. Not necessarily. There are a lot of people who really, all the money they have, they invest in the car, and that's it. During the week, they don't eat that well. They don't have jobs, big jobs, but they give everything, they invest everything in what is their passion. Now, the fact is that you have your mechanic, someone you know, whom you asked to record and he said no.
Yes. Actually, it's a shop I found in my neighborhood, since there are hardly any shops like this that work on these kinds of cars anymore. So, well, I went there and asked if I could record, and he told me that I could only record from the outside, but he'd rather I didn't. They're very worried about theft, since these cars are no longer common. They're being stolen and the parts are very valuable nowadays.
So do they steal them to take them apart?
Yes, to sell parts or maybe for people who need those parts. So, there's a market. Any little thing, any kind of part from this car has a market.
Look at that. I never even thought they would steal cars here.
Of course, these are cars that at some point you could have gotten for $1,000 or less.
How can you get a car like that for $1,000? It doesn't make sense.
These cars were everywhere. They were thrown away. They weren't valued. They were despised.
But why? Why were they worth so little? Why were they worth so little? I mean, we're talking about used cars, right?
But, well, what do I know? Over time, these cars have disappeared and now they're practically collector's items. One of these cars in the Japanese market can be over $25,000 and in Europe maybe double that.
A car like this for $1,000. How many years ago did we talk?
And I'm talking about the 90s, in the 90s.
The 90s, of course. That was a long time ago.
Yes, of course.
Wow, suddenly I feel fat. The seat is completely fitted to the body. What do you mean? What is this? A piece of pipe? This has metal bars, so it's a car made so that if you roll over, you don't die. This one is built. This really is a car fully prepared for racing. This is crazy. Incredible. Incredible. Yeah, it really feels like a race car. Another thing that a lot of cars do is remove or do some trick with a license plate, so they can go racing and not be easily detected. They take off the license plate or put it at an angle where it can't be seen. Or if not, for example, there are a lot of cars that put a neon light around the license plate, and you might think, doesn't that make it stand out? No. On the contrary, in a photo, it actually makes the light around the license plate more visible, but you can't see the license plate itself. And, well, tricks. So yeah, everyone makes their little offenses around here. The good thing is that the parking areas where people gather, there are always, let's say, places to eat. Right? That's what parking areas are about. They're places with restrooms and places to eat. Enjoy your meal. We're hungry here. It's 9 at night and everything is closed in the Inario Park. The food places, the food court, all of that is closed. I mean, it's completely intentional. That's because normally the parking areas stay open pretty late. But no, they're probably closing early so people don't gather. Everything. Well, but the Lawson is open. Mr. Lawson, you're very knowledgeable. What are those? The car from Initial D, but what's inside? Cookies. They sell little cars, I mean... Drift magazines. Ah, this is a different one, right? The culture of customized trucks, that's already... Car customization taken to another level. And look. Everything is gachapon, little toys. All about cars, all about trucks, all about trucks. What's up? Are those police cars making that sound? Oh, he says they're going to close the parking lot. Look. Yeah, but they really don't want people gathering here, huh? The police came. Oh, the number of patrol cars. The number of patrol cars. This is a patrol car gathering? And the days. Sometimes when we're lucky, a couple of cars get together over there and do a run here. They drift. And they go through here. But that's usually much later at night, when basically there are no more cars running during normal hours. Because, of course, after midnight is when there's less traffic. That's when drifters feel the most freedom to go out and race, right? No, all the police showed up. All the police showed up. The police are blocking the road. That's messed up. Listen to the engines roaring around. And since when do you drift?
Around 98 or 99.
And what about it? Did you go out? Did you hang out with people to run or something like that?
It was the big thing at the time. If you didn't run into someone at work or something, it would be somewhere else.
This type of car drifting was present
In all of society and everyday life. That time was crazy. When you're younger, the first thing you think about in drifting is accelerating. Later, as you mature, you get more clever with the brakes. But yeah, it was always more about the mountains, and mostly at the port. There, close to where you used to live. Yokohama, Tokyo. I crashed my first car into a gore at the port of Nagoya. But no, nothing more than that.
What's the car model?
Mine is a Skyline 32 sedan, and I've had this chassis since around 2012.
Let's say you have the car, and then you want to treat yourself to the luxury of going out to race like a champion, drifting. Nowadays, more or less with Chinese or Korean brands of wheels or tires, you can change the rear pair. For a little less than $100, I mean 10,000 yen, that would be around $70 or so. Well, but that's for those who really go hard. They can go through about 3 pairs in a day. Those guys, real show-offs. Those guys... The funny thing is that those guys... I used to think it was something from the 2000s, but no. They told me it's been around since the 80s, that whole car scene. Well, you know, as the guy who really gets into it said, you can go through 3 sets of tires in a single day, and if they're beginners who don't know how to control it well, they end up using up a lot of tires. What's your name?
Amy.
Amy? So, like a drifting couple, right? A couple, racers.
Something like that.
Both of them are Jasurios. Look at that. And they have the group's name right there on the windshield. Of Gaijin style.
This would be a replica from the movie, but with their own tastes applied, of course.
Ah, the Tokyo Drift.
That movie was the reason that motivated a lot of people to drift. Honestly, my wife was one of those who, after that movie, went crazy for the Skyline and bought one, and even now, to this day, she still races with it.
Of course, what the movie did well was to give more exposure to Japanese cars, right?
Of course, yes, that's true. That helped a lot, right?
The same car as in Initial D, but in a full black version. The video was nice, but this drifting thing doesn't end here, so we'll probably see it here. The good thing is that we made new contacts, and that opens up for a next edition of what would be the next step to show about what drift culture is. The tuning, the cars in Japan. See you next time. Greetings to you and your annoying neighbor. Bye.